Ubisoft, the first, at least they're first at something, triple A, or honestly, should I say quadruple A gaming company that has fulfilled the prophecy of go woke, go broke, and it could not have happened to a better company. The same people who said gamers should get used to not owning games any longer. Well, if I don't own what I buy, I'm not doing anything wrong by pirating it also. It is what it is.
Yes, everyone, the likely thing happened. Ubisoft just delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows again. This time it's not by much, though. It's only till March 20th. But of course, they still do want some pre-orders, so while the whole Season Pass plan is dead, there is going to be the first expansion, obviously, and that is included with the pre-orders. It's called Claws of Awaji, and it is 10 hours long, in line with similar Assassin's Creed games. So
every time I see a game that releases or is not released yet, and they're like, hey, if you pre-order our game, we're gonna include this expansion for free. Dude, any business that does this is either beyond desperate, which Ubisoft definitely is, or they're like a new company that has something promising that is permeating in everyone's collective consciousness in the gaming sphere. But Ubisoft is definitely not that. It's the former.
in one way, that's the new news, but it's not really. It's not the complete story. Because, yeah, players are skeptical, but what's going to matter a hell of a lot more to Ubisoft is that their investors are not particularly happy. Not at all. You see, Ubisoft stock is down from its highs of €99 to just €12 today. And it would be super easy to just say, oh, that was the COVID bubble. All the stock numbers were stupidly up for games. But then
Well, most of them actually at least have held a little bit, though. But this is a disaster. This is a unmitigated disaster. If you're in finances and you're seeing this, you're probably thinking, it's time to find a new job. It's time to find a new job because this is not going to last for long.
Then you take a look at some of the competition, because that's actually false. Look at EA. They are right now near an all-time high. Similar story for Take-Two. So if you're an investor in the game sector, you're looking at Ubisoft and thinking, my god, what are you people doing? But here's what's actually wild about this story, where
every bad gaming company tried to blame the disease of unknown origin for their troubles and a scapegoat, which is insane. Blizzard was, for example, one of the only companies that did not get a huge boost in player numbers during that time. Which is, by the way, insane, because they're literally the only big gaming company that did not see a substantial increase in player numbers. Well, every other gaming company was hailing the fact that everyone is cooped up in their homes and bored and playing video games. Blizzard was unironically saying, well, it's to be expected because everyone's at home and they're not playing. Insanity. Insane.
it goes so much deeper. You see, right now there is a shareholder revolt going on, but there's also a pact between the ruling Guillemot family, who started the company, and Tencent. Tencent are probably looking at this and seeing a big tasty opportunity. So, this is one of the
Oh god, this is gonna be a stupid video. I already talked about this. Tencent is... Well, maybe now they are, because things have changed, but initially, no. Tencent... People don't understand what Tencent does. Tencent takes money and they invest in companies. They acquire a huge portion of the shares, so they can actually influence them if they need to. But until literally Marvel Snap, which is Tencent's first actually proactive move in the games industry that they have actually ever made. Well, Black Myth Wukong kinda is also there, but doesn't really count. They have never actually tried to do anything. Now things may be changing, but the people who are saying, oh, Tencent just invested into Ubisoft to buy the company. No. Tencent did not do that. Tencent saw an opportunity to invest in Ubisoft while the Guillemot brothers were going to lose control over the company. And they said, hey, if you achieve this much revenue and blah, 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 we're not going to take over the company. And they're completely fine with that, because if they don't even take over the company, because that's what Tencent has historically done. They have never taken over companies. They just buy in, companies that are good, that are producing results, like Grinding Gear Games, by the way, for example, and they don't do anything. They don't ask for more skins. They don't ask for more microtransactions. They don't even ask about microtransactions as far as I know, honestly. I could be wrong because I'm not an insider, but as far as I know, they literally don't do anything. They just reap the benefits of good games. That's it. And Marvel Rivals is the first time that they actually do anything. Them investing in Ubisoft and Ubisoft stock plummeting this hard is a massive L for Tencent. There is no way around this. This is a massive loss for them. That is an official fuck up for them. Because they did not plan to brutally take over the company or anything like that. Now they're probably looking in that direction because they need something to recuperate some losses, and that's probably acquiring IPs to at least sell off later if things demand it like so, which they're not gonna do because that's not how their modus operandus. But still, this is again, everyone who says this is not a massive loss for Tencent, you're fucking stupid. Let me give you, by the way, the most easiest logic quiz that you can take. That is one fucking question, and you know that you're wrong about Tencent predicting this or wanting to this happen. Tencent buys in when Ubisoft stock is something like 20, 30, or $40. Okay? And now it's literally 10, or sometimes dips below 10 even at really bad points. What's Tencent's gain? If they wanted to buy out Ubisoft, if they wanted to take control of Ubisoft, they would have waited until the stock is at its lowest, not invest when they think it can make a resurgence and, double in price. Because they wanted it to double in price. That's why they invested. If they wanted to take over, they would have bought now, not when they came in when the stock was still falling and Ubisoft needed money. Simple.
Those stories where nobody's really happy. Shareholders are not really a big fan of delays to their profits, and players don't like hearing about Ubisoft's plan for, and I quote, capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders. The delay side of the story is actually quite simple. It's just another month to bug fix and polish the launch build of the game, and that's for fairly obvious reasons. Ubisoft does not want another repeat.
That's a lie. That is a lie. Ubisoft is waiting until people forget that Assassin's Creed Shadows exists and how absolutely dreadful DEI woke shithole ridden it is. But people are never gonna forget, so
Of Star Wars Outlaws, and actually it is sold shockingly bad. I mean, we knew it sold pretty badly. Ubisoft pretty much admitted it as much, but a new stat really hammers it home. This is from Christopher J, reporting for VGC, and he reports that Outlaws only hit rank 47 in the EU sales charts. And then twisting the knife even more, he adds that it actually lost to last year's big Star Wars game, Jedi Survivor. And that's a game that, as a piece of software, had a completely disastrous launch, where it was a total shit show on consoles. But pretty clearly, now that that game has been fixed up, the underlying fundamentals and appeal of that game do seem to be proving stronger than Outlaws, at least so far. So that's almost certainly why this big delay has happened. They're spooked. They don't want another bad launch. And since November, they've shown off some actually kind of neat things like...
It's not about a bad launch. They have lost money. Star Wars Outlaws most likely is, we're going to find out in a year or two that it has been like a 400 million loss for Ubisoft. Ubisoft has lost probably more than 1.2, easily more than 1.2 billion this year technically alone, with all of their games being launched, disasters, and closures. That's not sustainable.
There's combat redesigns, there's parkour that actually looks a lot more involved than, just holding the forwards button, which is quite nice. And, I mean, look, it is kind of fun to clown on Ubisoft, and they've done a hell of a lot to be clowned on, yes. But from a consumer point of view, this is actually good news. I mean, whenever a company is basically afraid that...
Dude, people are talking about this, and I saw a tweet going viral about this. Oh my god, you can run, avoid projectiles, and vault over a barrel! Best Assassin's Creed game ever! These people are insane.
If its game isn't good enough, people will reject it and not buy it. That's a good thing for us. And if they then start to delay their games to polish them more, well, doubly so. That's good for us. I mean, look at the state of some modern games. And what really drives it home for me is looking.
If this is, by the way, player perspective, people are gonna ditch this game so fast. Because tell me honestly, if this is pure player perspective of how the game plays, are you gonna enjoy this? Watch.
Them more, well, doubly so. That's good for us. I mean, look at the state of some modern games. And what really drives it.
Dude, again, if this is legitimate player perspective on how you play through the game, that is horrible. People, I hate it. I don't want to play something that makes me feel this bad. The camera angle is all bad, and the animations are stupid and take too long. This is not my Assassin's fantasy.
Home for me is looking at Outlaws, where Ubisoft Corporate clearly learned that it's so much harder to salvage a busted launch than it is to just delay a game and get it right. Now, this is quite spooky if you're Ubisoft. So, the game is a respectable 76% on Steam, but it only has 2,000 reviews. That is not that much whatsoever. Its player counts are real.
The reason this happens, by the way, is because Ubisoft was forced to crawl back to Steam. They looked at Gabe and he was like, "Oh, wachala, talk," and they were like, "Yes, Gabe, we understand." They crawled on all fours, opened a crack in his fats, and then licked up the juices and crawled inside. And Gaben was, "You can now be on Steam, losers. Thank me more." And what was the peak player count on for Outlaws on Steam when it came out? Like 4K? So only the most dedicated people play these failed games on Steam when it comes out.
Low. They are actually eclipsed, not just surpassed, completely eclipsed by any of the last three.
Oh, Jesus, it wasn't even 4K, it was barely 2.5. Wow.
Assassin's Creed games. I mean, when I checked earlier, Assassin's Creed Odyssey was at 11,000 concurrence, and Outlaws was at like 750. That really does tell us something. And in fact, Assassin's Creed Unity and Black Flag are also both beating Outlaws, which, you know, was pretty damn new on Steam.
Damn.
So it's a kind of wild situation, but it does show us something. Assassin's Creed is the backbone of Ubisoft's business. If Shadows misses, they are in absolute deep shit. And I think they know that. Insider gaming sources corroborate that polish is actually the reason that's being discussed internally. But I think there's quite clearly another factor.
There's no way. It's not polish.
One that's going to impact you, but also impact shareholders. And that's the fact that February 2025 is absolutely goddamn insane. By now, it's a full-on tradition that February is basically just Christmas 2 for gaming, and this time it is actually quite big. So there's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That's had some pretty damn strong previews.
Nice.
There's a lot of hype coming off the first one. I think it
Medieval Waifu Simulator. Nice. Where you get naked with the bros in bed. The fucking dream.
Could actually be an outsized hit, but there's also Avowed. There's Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza.
Oh, Jesus. Avowed is gonna be a disaster. It's a double A game by fucking Bethesda, of all things unholy, by the way, that costs $70. Just from the price point alone, Avowed is not gonna succeed. I don't know how good is it gonna sell. Maybe it's gonna have like 20, 40 peak players on Steam, but it's hard. Avowed is something that I will not predict. I'm not gonna try because I have no gauge for it, even though I know stuff about it.
In Hawaii, which is rather funny because, you know, pirate gameplay, Ubisoft, Black Flag, Skull and Bones.
This is gonna be amazing.
Anyway, there's also Monster Hunter Wilds and there's Civ 7.
Monster Hunter Wilds is gonna destroy everything. Civ 7 is a DEI, the riddled, complete woke shit game. But the reality is it's Civ. No one cares. 5 was already honestly woke with them trying their hardest to implement female leaders of all countries that literally never accomplished or did anything in history. And, you know, now it's worse. Now, for comparison, March, which is the month they're going to be launching in, has got Split Fiction. Congratulations, America, on your Civ 7 black woman leader. That's right. Honestly, listen, Rihanna would be a better leader than the top woman or what's her face.
And Football Manager 25. So it's a stacked February, but Wilds really is going to be the big one here, and that's because Monster Hunter World was Capcom's highest selling game ever. Like, that game's performance is absolutely unhinged levels of big,
Yep.
and I think even more importantly for Ubisoft, it was massive on consoles. If you're Ubisoft, you absolutely do not want to be competing for the same dollars in the same month. So overall, it's pretty simple logic. What's going to cost Ubisoft more? On a first order basis, it's getting their $70 1 month later at the expense of like another month of a team's burn rate, I guess. But second order, it's more about sticking the landing. That's because earlier on, I didn't bring up those Assassin's Creed Steam chart numbers as a bit of a goof or a gaff. No, I brought that up to prove a point here. Assassin's Creed is a platform. Assassin's Creed Shifts DLC, and I'm sure there is somebody out there who is mad enough to actually buy the premium currency inside their Assassin's Creed game. But the point is, Assassin's Creed has an absurdly long tail. It generates massive back catalog revenue for Ubisoft. And if you've ever wondered, like, Ubisoft seems to have nothing.
They do have microtransactions, but honestly, I mean, Assassin's Creed, it's true, Assassin's Creed does generate passive revenue after its release and years in, but I mean, it's probably less than 5% of whatever the fuck money we're talking about Ubisoft has. And 5% is me being super generous, by the way. There is no way it's actually even close to 5%. It's below.
Nothing but bad news. How on earth are they still alive? Well, it's basically because their back catalog is insanely strong. But of course, they've had to lean in that strength. So any weakness to that is going to seem like a truly existential extinction event. And that is only giving ammunition to a group that I've got to imagine CEO Yves Guillemot basically considers.
No, he's completely wrong. I haven't seen it, but I am willing to put my life on the line that the backlog bullshit doesn't make any real tangible money for Ubisoft, that they can make new games or anything like that in it. That does not work like that.
To be the
We're not talking about World of Warcraft and a $100 amount.
Enemies within. Let me lay out the stakes for you. So on one side, we've got Yves Guillemot. Now, in the 2010s, he and the Guillemot brothers entered a pact with Tencent, and this was to fend off a hostile takeover attempt by Vivendi being a big French megacorp. And from then till now, that pact has kept the ruling family in control. Of course, not all has went well since then, and other investors are understandably quite angry. Per one activist investor, they're not exploiting their core IP properly, and that investor, AJ Investments, are going to come up later in this video, and that's because they basically want a big private equity deal to completely change how the company runs, gut everything, and hopefully turn a quick buck. And the thing that's interesting...
Well, he's right about the quick buck. So let me explain in human language what this is effectively, because Bellier is fucking clueless, okay? When your shareholders are literally demanding that you buy back shares and take the company privately to fix, they're not saying that because, oh, we believe in this shit. We think it's gonna be great. Just think about it. No. They're doing that because they want to recuperate at their losses. Okay? Because when you buy out a company, you can't offer the current share price. You need to offer above it. That's why their shares went up when people heard about the fact that there's a chance that a buyback is going to happen. Because that's just free money. Okay, that is just free money. The same way I made free money when Elon Musk bought Twitter. Okay, you buy in, Elon Musk has to buy the shares at a more expensive rate. This is just a way for the shareholders to recuperate some of their losses because they do not believe in the future of the company. They do not believe that the company is gonna go above the price of a buyback anytime soon. Not in a year, not in 2 years. When your shareholders demand a buyback, you're in deep shit because literally no one believes in you no longer.
Hopefully turn a quick buck. And the thing that's interesting about them is they started off with a relatively small position only recently, which was obviously when the stock price was heavily depressed. So you know what sort of game those guys are coming in to play. But the thing is, this is not just business for the people involved. I mean, it is for AJ Investments, but it's not for Yves Guillemot and the Guillemot brothers, because for them, it is the family business. They founded it. That's why they're going to defend it as much as they can, especially
Oh, look at that! Billiard watched my video because yeah, you made this. It's yours. You don't want to see it burn. This is what people with no achievements in life don't understand. That if you have something and it's even remotely successful, you don't want to let go of it. Most people don't want to let go of it because of a paycheck. Look at all the men who have made a couple of millions making some kind of shitty company and then they let go. Most of them fucking regret it, or most of them start something different because it's not actually it is a logically sound thing to sell, but it's not gonna be good for your mental.
because they do have scars. As an example, Gameloft, the people who just like clone mobile games. That was a Guillemot thing until a hostile takeover by Vivendi, so they want control. And all of this is why the other statement from Ubisoft matters. It's the one that was sent to investors, especially this snippet that people really loved. I'll read it out. Ubisoft has appointed leading advisors to review and pursue various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders. God, I love some extracted value. And yeah, that does completely sound like corporate word salad, but, well, it, along with the rest of the statement, does have a pretty clear meaning. So here's a word salad-free version TLDR. Shareholders got mad at us for not being profitable enough, so we said we'd find cost-cutting opportunities and look into selling parts of the company. Now we've paid somebody to go and do that for us, and they'll probably find a few ways, and we've some sale options floating around us, but we can't talk until anything happens. That's basically what the statement meant. Simple enough, really. And they call out things like, say, closing 3 studios in, quote, high-cost geographies, which basically just means the whole fallout of XDefiant shutdown. And really now, we're just kind of left with a waiting game. You see, what's likely happening here is Tencent are, again, likely, waiting for the Guillemots to cede some influence in return for funding a family takeover. Think about it from Tencent's perspective. It was Tencent's deal that allowed the Guillemots to, retain control of Ubisoft. Now Ubisoft is very much embattled. So if they want to buy up more of that stock and have more ownership, well, Tencent are going to be thinking, what do we get out of this deal? That'll be quite fun, and I'm sure they're licking their lips. Now,
what? I'm sorry, fucking what? But I mean, he literally, I didn't talk about it, but there was an image about Tencent's deal here, which explicitly somewhere here stated, I mean, did you fucking think Tencent is gonna just give you money to do stuff for free? Like, what are they, Santa Claus? Well, what do you think this is gonna work? No. Tencent came into this deal, gave Guillemots money, said, hey, you can be the top cheese, but, you didn't have the money to stay in power. You didn't have this. You didn't have that. We gave you that. And yeah, there's a really high percent of return that they are expecting. And it's on paper. If they do not get enough profits for Tencent out of this decision, Tencent gets something out of it. Either it's their shares, either it's control of the company, either it's anything. Again. This is how these things work. Whatever the fuck Bellier is currently talking about is just bullshit.
Did this statement to investors actually work? I would say so far not really. You see, their CEO and CFO were pushed for details on the actual call. Things like, actual sales being considered. Are there people wanting to buy the company? What other cost savings have happened? What can be sold off from Ubisoft? They were even asked if Tencent's military ties would be a problem for the United States. And basically answers to those questions in the Q&A were not really present. Basically, Ubisoft couldn't really say anything, not while a deal is in progress and when anything that they say will rock investors, which is why we got insane corporate word salad that frustrated everybody, both players and investors, by basically saying nothing. And that means...
By the way, this is... I'm so... when you deal with things a lot, you forget how complicated they are to the original person. I want you to actually just timestamp this and tell me in the comments, is this word salad to you? Because this is a completely fine sentence in my opinion that doesn't even require explanation. Is this word salad to people? Because if it is, I need to reevaluate how much I explain in these videos when we're actually talking about finances, because Maybe I need to take a step down in explaining more basic shit. Because people just don't understand it. Because for me, this sentence is, it's not word salad at all. It is the most crystal clear thing fucking ever written in the history of humanity.
And investors by basically saying nothing. And that means that for Ubisoft, there is only one way out. And that is Shadows. Place yourself in Yves Guillemot's shoes and basically imagine this. Your single most important product underperforming right as you are negotiating some form of buyout deal. That...
Dude, Shadows is so sad. Because you need to understand, people have been begging for Assassin's Creed game in Japan forever. They would even probably take the Chinese Assassin's Creed game, okay? And finally it happens, and it's going to be the biggest disaster ever. I think Shadows is not is going to sell roughly 2 million copies. Maybe 3 to 4 mil if super lucky, which is still going to be like at least a 200 million loss. Most likely 300 million, honestly. And if they're lucky, because I see a world where Assassin's Creed Shadows easily only sells like 1.25 million copies because people just don't like it. No one in Japan is buying this shit. Most people talking about this are not gonna buy this shit. It's insane, okay? And the thing is, dude, people have been begging for a Japanese Assassin's Creed game. This was the thing that could have easily sold 20 to 40 million copies. Easily 20 to 40 million copies. All they had to do was not put Yasuke as the main character, and the second character should not be a gay-looking twink. And I'm not even sure what the gender is supposed to be of whatever the other guy is, girl is. I don't even know what it's meant to be. Okay? This should have been an easy slam dunk, the easiest thing for Ubisoft to ever do. And they completely botched it up. From something that should have shot your stock prices through the roof to something that's gonna destroy you. And all you needed to do was not put in Vogue DEI shit.
That's what's on the line here. That is not good.
Insane.
And that is why, for the company, Shadows has got to land. Not just for the company, for its owners, for its leadership. March the 20th is the latest that they can launch while still seeing a full week sales in Q4 of the financial year.
By the way, these assassination takedowns are so stupid. Dude, you're an assassin. I want to see a quick stab in the something, and then that person just falls over like this. Not like you punching them 3 times, flying tiger fist style. That's so lame. In any case, I think we're done here. I can't imagine Billiard saying anything that matters. Anyway, that was Billiard News. 10 out of 10. Bye.